Hi, and welcome back to DS Tech Mirror. This channel is dedicated to deliver content related to SharePoint online customizations. This video is a part of React tutorial video series, and today we are going to see about lists and how we use the lists in our React application, and how we traverse through the items in the list using map function. This is a quick recap of what we have seen in the last video. We have explored in detail about React events. If you want to brush the concept of the events once again, you can pause the video right here, go back to the previous one, and then come back and resume this video. The link is present on the top right corner. This is the DS Shopping Cart React app that we are developing from the day one of the React tutorial video series. And on the right, you can see the output of it. So this toggle method and all these events we have seen in the last video. In this video, for this demo, what I'm going to do is introduce another component under the product section. Right now, we have introduced ebooks, so I'm going to introduce another component under the same product section and call it electronics. So let me create a new file. Electronics.js. We will be doing the same drill in creating the component structure. Import React from React, export default class electronics extends react.component. In this class, we will have a constructor, a super, which calls the super method, super constructor, and a state object. Right now, I will be leaving it as blank. After constructor, we will have a render method. And inside render method, we will have a return statement. React fragment. Yes, this is a simple structure, and in this structure, what we will be doing is similar to the products. I'm going to display my electronic items. But this time, I'm not going to display only a single item, just as we did in this ebook. Here in the ebook, we have displayed a single item inside the state. But in electronics component, what we will be going to do is have a list of items, and using map function, we will be displaying all the items with a similar CSS. So inside the state, I'm going to introduce a variable electronics, and this will be my list variable. It is kind of an array variable, and inside this variable I will be having 3 items. Okay, so these items will be similar in structure to my products items. I'll be having title, I'll be having price, and year. So title, laptop, price, Let me name it as DS laptop. Price, let me sell it for 50,000, and year is 2019. Let me copy the same thing because my other similar electronic items will have the same structure. Will be displaying title, price, and year. Laptop, DS keyboard, mouse, this is to mine. Okay, for 5,000, and mouse, I think it will be around 650. Yeah, let me differentiate it. Yes. Okay, let me save it. Right now, no result will be there because I'm not called this component anywhere. But see, I have all these products, but I don't have any unique property to identify each and every items under the electronic variable. So for that, I have to introduce an element to identify it uniquely. It can be like a key to identify that unique item. So let me introduce an ID parameter over here. This will be really helpful in order to identify the element that is required, that is selected, and to pass on its data, or even to map the items. To make it more realistic, let me give this a product ID. Laptop 1001, 100, and 1003. We have introduced the state variable. Now let us use it here. So similar to the previous one where I have declared the element constant and then used it over here. So it will minimize, the bulky return statement. I will be doing the same thing here. So constant, this will be my electronic element, electronic items equal to, and here what we are going to do is to map the items, because for every product I'm going to display it in the similar fashion. Okay, this dot state dot product dot map, and inside this we will be calling an anonymous function to do our logical work. Here in this function we are going to introduce the concept of looping, but in order to loop we will be introducing a variable here which will point us to the current item that is in the iteration loop. So it is similar, this function is very much similar to the for each function. So I'm going to introduce a dummy variable which is item, which I can use it to relate to the current item which is in the iteration and consume its values. Let me go to the ebooks, copy the structure, because I'm going to use the same UI. So I want to copy all this structure, come back to electronics and paste it over here. So this is an element. And we are introducing this element inside a function. So either you have to set this value to a variable or you can either return this. Either thing works. Return of okay. Now instead of these values, what we will be doing is This one is the title, year and price. So as I told you, I'm going to use this item variable, item dot, you can see over here. The value present over here is similar to the value that I've given for this product element list. So each item is representing one single value in the list. So here I'm going to introduce the title, item.title. Otherwise, what we have done previously was this .state.title, which is a single value in the title. It is not a list. But inside a list, inside the mapping function, we are referring to each and every single item and then consuming their values. So item dot year and item dot price. Let me remove this. Okay, so this is complete right now. The value over here, it is returned to this constant variable, and I'm going to introduce this inside it. Now let us save it and check it. But still nothing will happen because we have not called this component. Go back to products. Here inside toggle, we have set element to ebooks, and the toggle function is happening over here, which was the result of the previous video events demo. So I'm not gonna disturb this part. Inside the return method, we have a button over here, toggle button, and the element. So below this, I'm gonna introduce my electronics component. Okay. And it also got auto imported from the product components. Fine. Now this we are not going to pass any parameters right now to the electronics component class. So it is parameterless. This will work. Yes. You can see over here, we have all these items displayed in a similar fashion inside our product section below the previously displayed ebook section. Let me toggle this and minimize this component. And now we can see only the electronics items that we recently introduced. Right. So this is how, with a single state function, you can introduce lists. Suppose if you have to introduce multiple items with the same structure, with the same UI and with the same functionality, you can go ahead and introduce list concept and map it in order to use the values from the list, and you can display it, and you can do multiple functionalities over these lists. You can pick a particular item from the list and you can process it. And you can combine the concept of events and lists and you can make wonders. For example, let us see that. In the previous ebook concept, we have seen a concept like apply discount. So on click of applying discount, the price gets changed. What I'm going to do right now is introduce a button. Introduce apply discount button under each item. On clicking of that button, the price will change. So whichever price is changed, whichever button I'm clicking, for the first item price will change. For this third item, the third item price will change. Interesting, right? Let's build this. So let us create a button over here inside this UL. Button, and the ID of this button will be btn underscore, and I'm going to do the same thing over here, plus, okay, btn underscore plus item id. Okay, so it will be different buttons with different IDs and with the title as apply discount. I'm going to include an on-click function, on click, and inside this function I'll be introducing this dot apply discount. We'll be passing a parameter along with this method, which will be my item ID. Okay, so the button is also having a unique ID which represents the current item, whether it is the first one, second or third one, and also the click function and the items that is being passed also has the unique ID representing the particular item. Okay, now let us define this function. Apply discount equal to function. This is an arrow function, and inside this, so we have passed the ID, and here in this function we are going to alter the price of the ID of the particular item ID of the particular item that is passed. Okay, so please remember that we are not going to, and it is not recommended to, change the state of the object directly. So I'm going to set a variable, let items equal to this dot state dot our list element. Okay, so now whatever modification that we are doing, we will be doing into this variable, and then finally we will be setting the value of this variable to our state element. Now we got the value of this list, this variable inside, state variable inside our function variable. Now we are going to map this function variable in order to find and retrieve that particular item's price value. Map, and inside the map we will be having an anonymous function, and in this function let me name the variable as gets. And in this function, we will be having an if condition. If x.id equal to the ID of the element which got triggered, from which the button on click event got triggered. So if these IDs are matching and we have got the correct item for which the button click was triggered, then what we are going to do is to call the price element x.price. We are going to alter this, applying the discount. So x price minus, so we are going to apply a 10% discount of the price. Yes. So this particular function, what it does, it checks for the ID value, it loops through the elements, through the list, and when the ID matches, it picks up the price value and performs this operation and then alters the price value of that particular element that we have passed. Now, finally, this items variable which we have declared over here is altered to our logic. The value that is altered, now we are going to save that value inside our state variable. This dot state dot prod. In order to set the state, we can't directly use this dot state dot prod element equal to the items. For this, we have to use a special function called this dot set state, and inside its parameter, like inside its parenthesis, we have to set the state variable. So inside this dot set, we need not include this dot state dot prod elect, this element. We need not suffix it with this dot state, because inside this method the identification of the state element is implied. So you can use directly prod dot elect, and then you can set it to items. That's it. So I'm going to introduce another thing. So after applying the discount and changing this value, price value, I'm going to disable the button because I don't want to reapply a discount. Okay, so this I'm going to do it by document.getElement by ID. So that's why we have an ID element over here. So we can easily fetch the button. This is button underscore plus ID dot disable equal to true. Let me save it. Okay, we have a block over here. So I don't want a block over here. So I'm going to remove this button over here and place it inside the div element. Okay, now let me save it again. Let me remove the unnecessary space. Save it again. Okay, now we got the applied discount button over here. So let me hide the previous element and we have it over here, right? Now let's try clicking the apply discount. The discount was applied, and please be clear that discount, the change, was not applied on the other ones. The disable button should have been true. Let me check. It is disabled. Okay, now it will work perfectly. My React application got refreshed. I'm going to hide this component. Right now, I'm going to do the same thing, apply discount. And the discount was applied, and my apply discount button is disabled for further clicks. Similarly, if I do apply discount, the same thing happens. So guys, in this video, we have seen how to use lists, how to display the elements and use the values present in the list. Also, we have learned about the important concept of keys and how to use these keys as a parameter and use it in our functions and in our events in order to get the desired output. Thanks for watching the video. If you like the content I shared, please like, share and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to hit the bell icon to receive the notifications of the future videos. Till then, much love, keep learning.